Yo, peace and blessings, code keepers. What's good? What's good? It's time to get on code. As we know, the code is empowerment. The code is empowerment. Everything you do should empower you. Everything you eat should empower you. Everything you read and consume should empower you. So our code is the empowerment agenda. Get on code, teach the code, live the code, be the code. And today, brothers and sisters, what's up, family? We got the Reverend Rance Dunbar, the Chakra Doctor. I just had his site up. So, yo, it's time for us to have a really good time. It's time for us to learn. It's time for us to earn. It's time for us to get on code. All right. Welcome to Get On Code, the Fly Guy Show, which is a series of melanated conversations focused on empowerment, health, wealth, and knowledge of self.
People think in binary choices because they are conditioned to.
And on the wall was a picture of a wolf and a lion. I think the wolf was the Democratic Party, the lion was the Republicans.
But the drug trade and all these illegal stuff that people do, that's still economics. It's just that they couldn't do it in the traditional system.
We're talking about melanated wealth.
So we can build wealth, but we just, for some reason, don't seem to be able to transfer it.
You had a great experience. Fine. That means nothing.
What were you told as a child about education? You had to be how many times better?
Every impression without an expression becomes depression.
Money magic, make Jesus black.
Yes, sir. What's up, code keepers? Yo, I'm here today with the Chakra Doctor. What's up? What's up, Doc? How you doing, man?
Man, infinite love, eternal truth, and peace wave to you, man. I'm doing swell, well, and great, divinely blessed, and wonderfully infinite. Attitude of gratitude is the longitude and latitude all day, every day, man. It is what it is. I mean, let's get it. Let's get to the black and power.
I say that. Yo, man, I'm really kind of hyped about this conversation. I've checked out a lot of your stuff, on your Facebook page. It's right there. His IG page is right there. I've been checking out this stuff, man, and I'm kind of intrigued by your story, man. You battled depression, you battled suicide, you increase your health, health, and those of thousands of other people too, man. So, yo, and one of the other things is you and I were both influenced by this book right here.
Oh,
Blacked Out Through Whitewash.
All praises be to the noble, immortal Justice Dr. Suzar Epps. I got this book in my hand in 2005, and my life when it comes to blackness has never been the same since. She is the reason why she's one of the main reasons. My mother is the main reason, but she is the second main reason why I give people, why I introduce people into the great grand holy mother of all divinity, and why I teach Christians that Jesus had a mama and there's a hierarchy. My mama used to always teach me that Jesus had a mother. And so, coming up on this book right here, that Blacked Out Through Whitewash, you see how worn mine is. Mine is worn at time, and I've been using mine. It is definitely a book that is recommended for anybody who is trying to wake somebody up from their black illusion and their black sleep, as we rely on all of these Caucasian mechanisms, and we rely on these Caucasian politics, media, education, business, military, medicine, banking, religion, black market, stock market. All of it has been whitewashed. No matter which area you go in, it is stolen, plagiarized black spirituality, black economics, black philosophy, black science, whitewash for today's whitewash to fit. Indian wash, Chinese wash, Japanese wash, you name it. It's been washed in that particular ethnicity to fit that ethnicity's people, but it has been originated by us. Like, people think yoga originated in India. Lies. Black people invented yoga, right? But when you go to India, you're going to see there are black people that are way blacker than the Indians that they market to us, right? Everywhere you go on the continent, there is a dark version of that person on the continent. I go to China, I can find Chinese black people. When I go to, I'm talking about blacker than me. When I go to Australia, you can find the Australian blacks. When you go to Europe, you'll see the European blacks. When you go anywhere, Eskimos, you got the Eskimos, the black Eskimos. right? Everywhere you go, there is an original version of the lighter skinned people that are in that particular area. And so with that being said, we have to acknowledge the fact that everything has been stolen from us, like in the highway robbery. And we have to have a burning desire to seek, find, and reclaim that which has been stolen from us.
Ashe, Ashe. I first got a hold of that book. It was actually a pamphlet. When I first got it, it was circulated. This is circa 1991, 1992-ish. It was 91, 91. I graduated from the Great Hampton University in 1990, and it was 91 when I really started getting really deep in the conscious community. And that was one of the first things they hit me with. And so I started reading that stuff in 91, and it was papers. Somebody had copied it. And so I never saw the real book really until 2000. From 91 into 2000, I had copies and I was distributing them. We would go to Kinko's back in the day and we would copy them. Yep, copy them. And, you know, sell them and give them out at, you know, Kwanzaa celebrations. We used to bring Dr. Ben to the area, so we would give them out and sell them then. We brought the Conscious Rasta to the area. We brought, well, Dr. Ben's an ancestor. We also brought Dr. John Henry Clark.
How was Doc? Everybody always asks me, like, I met, like, all right, so the reason why I became who I am is because of Dr. Sabi, and I met Dr. Sabi, and a lot of people ask me, how was he? So I want to ask you, how was Dr. Ben, man? I never met him, but I always did wanted to meet him. How was he, man?
All right, so look, I married my wife in 97. In 95,
congratulations, man.
Yeah, hey, congratulations to you and your wifey and the new beautiful little one that I saw on your IG page, man.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Thank you.
We brought Dr. Ben down to the Hampton Roads, Virginia area in 1995. And I tell you what, you know, he started talking about how his wife, Dr. Ben, was talking about how his wife was used to be a nun and then was really heavily involved in the Catholic Church.
Right.
How he used to go to the Catholic Church and he went through the rituals and everything with her because that was his wife. But then he would have, you know, his books, man, and his books would break down all that stuff and how they got it from indigenous African people and all those rituals, man. You know, Black Man of the Nile. Was that his? Black Man of the Nile was his. And so Dr. Ben had a filthy mouth.
Okay.
And he started off really nice. And so when he started talking, my wife was like, yeah, I like this. And then 15 minutes, she was like, yo, I can't take this. He was abrasive. So if you weren't ready for him, he was real abrasive. You know, he was getting on your case. And he was, you know, man, it was crazy. So we would bring him down to the area. Steve Coakley, we used to bring Steve Coakley to the area. And these two brothers were real abrasive. And so if you weren't up on your information, if you weren't up on your square, they were breaking it down. They were, you know, destroying it. But Dr. Ben was very abrasive, but he was so fluent. He would start talking, and then 2 hours later, you know, he would have made 40 points, and then he would come back to the original point. But he was really fluid, man. He was really fluid. So, yeah. That's how he was, man.
Oh, Dave, man, that is definitely what needs to be. You know, we need that type of fire back in our leadership. We need that type of those type of old school engines, you know. These new school cars, they're easy to wreck. You know, they're easy to damage. We need those old school iron body, you know, engines that could go 500, 900,000 mile engines and stuff, you know. You need that Ford Tough, you know what I mean?
So look, man, one of the things that I found intriguing in my walk through consciousness is there are times, and you know what I'm going to come to, man. There are times when those who are new in consciousness, you know, babies or the newborns, they rally against things that they grew up in. You know, once they really understand that they learned the baby level stuff and they really didn't get the meat, they just got the baby food. And when they start getting the meat, they want to rally against everything and destroy it, cuss it out, say everything is a lie. And so I used to get a whole lot of heat because I go to the conscious stuff, and I would still go to the church stuff, because I enjoyed being with my wife and the experience that she would have, and I enjoyed some of the music. Now, I mean, I didn't leave my fraternity. You see, my brother will make it Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated. We have a couple of, we call us the conscious bros. So we've learned this conscious information, but we like, man, these are just Greek letters. The same way you spell your name, Charkra. That doesn't mean that you're a Phoenician or that you're Anglo-Saxon or that you celebrating that culture. It's just you use those letters, those Phoenician, those Anglo-Saxon letters, to spell chakra. And it's kind of, but you go through the same thing, right?
I tell people all the time in the book Black Out Do Whitewash, they show you how the English language and all European languages in general are plagiarized from Black people. Once again, every single aspect and facet of life that we hold important was invented and created by someone of my color or darker, or just a Black person who identified with the ethnicity of Blackness. And when you analyze that, let's analyze this right now. If you were to go to a restaurant right now, right, and the restaurant serves you baby food, you'll be pissed off too, huh? Right? You wouldn't. You went to Root Chris. Root Chris brought you a baby food steak. What the fuck is this? What the hell is this? Fucking baby food flavored steak. You know what I mean? What is this? And you're like, so I can get how someone may or may not rebel against the previous programming just to get into the new level of understanding. I always tell people I did the same thing. There was a time when I was going around and I was saying, I was saying F religion, I used to say F Jesus, F Satan, F God, F the devil, F everybody on my own team. Everybody done lied to me. I don't want to be lied to no more. And when you've been lied to like that, like Black people, we have been monumentously lied to. Like we've been lied to on a big, grand scale. So to find out these things, right? To find out that we've been lied to on these levels, guess what it does? It hurts. It hurts. It makes you say, well, if they lied to me about that, what else they lied to me about? Right? And now it makes you not trust nothing. So I think that is a stage, like we were talking about. I think that is a stage of growth that one must go through in order to break free from the old chains that bind us, right? Free from the old chains that bind us. When you look at all of the chains that bind us, politics, media, education, business, military, medicine, banking, religion, black market, stock market, all of these areas, we don't own no big chunks of them. And these areas are heavily discriminatory against our culture, even though they appropriate our culture to make billions and trillions of dollars, right? And so with that fact, it's never the oppressor. I never blame the oppressor for being an oppressor. Oppressor is gonna do what an oppressor want to do, right? I blame the oppressed for letting oppressors oppress them. That's what I blame. And I also blame Black people for thinking that they can win this war with Smith & Wesson, Heckler & Koch, Northrop Grumman, and all of the places that make these guns, right? Like, when will we go back to that old formula that Haiti used? And Haiti did not use no dang nabbit guns. Haiti used some spiritual nature, organic power of God within them, witchcraft, all kind of whatever you want to call it. Haiti went to Mother Earth. Mother Earth got them up out of there. And then they revert. And after they used magic to get the people up out of there, right? Guess what they did? They went straight to white Jesus. Shame on them. That's why they fell and got crushed. See what I'm saying?
So they had Ogun. They had Ogun. They had Shango.
They had Oshun. They had Shango. They had everybody. They whipped them up. As soon as the colonizer left, white Jesus came in, and you want, because people wonder why Haiti has it so bad, and I tell them because they went against their own grain. When you went against your own grain, you got the people out of there with you didn't get the people out of there with Jesus. The white man did not leave Haiti because the black man prayed to Jesus. I'm sorry, people, that did not happen. So the white man left Haiti because the black man laid up there and resorted to some ancestral knowledge, magic, wisdom, understanding, and that got him up out of there. Now, the thing about it is, after the white man got up out of there, they didn't stick to the roots. They did something what a lot of black people do in Christian church. They backslid. They needed some food, clothing, shelter, education, and medication. And the white boy said, hey, if you denounce Ogun, you denounce Oshun, you denounce your Orisha, and take in this Jesus, we'll give you a budget. And they went for it. They didn't rely on saying, man, look, if we relied on the ancestors to get them up out of here, we're gonna rely on the ancestors to build up a new economy.
All right. Well, that kind of leads us to this point. So your shirt.
Yeah. Make Jesus black again, bro. See, I don't have no problem with people worshiping a savior that look like them. When I go, my business partner, Dr. Varun Gandhi, is a self-made millionaire from Mumbai, India. When he goes to the temple and worship God, that God and all that goddess looks like his wife, or that God looks like him. When the Hispanic man goes to the Catholic church or goes to the church, he worships a deity called Jesus. Jesus looks like him. When the white man goes to the Catholic church or goes to the Christian church, he worships a God that looks like him. When the Arab says Alhamdulillah and Bismillah Rahman Rahim, he's worshiping a God that image looks like him. We are the only, when I say we, because even when you go to Africa, you see African tribes that praise gods that look like them, like black ancient African deities, and you have some sprinkles of Christianity throughout there because of the colonizers. But when you look at them, they still can go to their ancestral roots and worship a God that looks like them. Now, the African, I don't even like to call us African American, simply because I know we're Native American, and my New Orleans roots proves it beyond shadow of a doubt. When I go to Mardi Gras, I see Indians, Native Americans that look like me. Feathers going, oh, looking like me, right? And so the lie that they told me in my propaganda on TV does not fit the reality that I'm seeing every year for Mardi Gras, every Sunday for Super Sunday, every fest for Jazz Fest. Every time I go out into my city, I see black Indians. I see Indians that look like me. Native Americans, my best friend, his grandmother had two long locks, big old long, and they were the good hair, like black people like to brag on. The Indian had that good hair, but I know for a fact that my bloodline is Choctaw, Chippewa, Native American. When you look at the names of our states, a lot of our states are named after our Native American tribal heritage. Mississippi, that's Native American. Louisiana, that is Native American. Iowa, that is Native American. Wichita, Kansas, all of these places are original black Native American tribal lands that have been appropriated by invaders. Now, if you want me...
Yo, I'm glad you said that, bro. I'm glad you said that. And we'll have a discussion about, what you see during Mardi Gras. When I went to New Orleans, I had a great experience where I got a chance to sit down with one of the historians, the New Orleans historians, who helped with the development of that Disney film that had The Princess and the Frog. So, and he also runs a voodoo museum there in New Orleans. And so I had a really good experience there. But we all know, man, since, J.A. Rogers, talked about they came before Columbus. So we know that there were people that looked like us who were indigenous to this country.
Man, look, are you ready for this?
Yeah, so but let me drop this real quick.
Go ahead.
If we use the term African American in this conversation, we're simply talking about American citizen of some level of
everybody
African
who got a
descent.
social security number.
Okay. If we use the term black, it doesn't refer to skin color, hair color. We're not talking about a city, a state, a nation, a country called black. We're not talking about a crayon color. We're not stupid. We're not using the term to address someone's legal identity or status. If we use the term black, we're talking about some person with a level of African or indigenous or aboriginal descent. So I had to get that out there because, some of us who get into consciousness really set trip on terminology. And I love
That's crazy.
everything. It's cool. It's cool. Some people are really passionate about terminology.
But think about this. Terminology does not determine growth. Right? terminology does not determine growth. We have to get into the term of what makes things grow versus what makes things stay stagnant and not grow. And Doc, believe it or not, even though he's a charlatan and a fraud and he's been exposed, he does say some truthful things. And Dr. Umar said that this is called intellectual masturbation amongst the black people, right? And that you cannot pick a word or a phrase or a coin better than what Dr. Umar said, intellectual masturbation, because that's what we're doing. We are arguing and masturbating these different truths, these different knowledges, these different ethnic causes, right? And we're missing the whole purpose, that no matter if you're a Native American black, no matter if you're African black, no matter if you're Indian black, no matter if you're Australian black, European black, no matter
Asian black,
South American black, Greenland black, Eskimo black, no matter what black you are, you come from the universe, you come from the stars, you come from the cosmos, and that soul inside that body supersedes color, supersedes race, supersedes sovereignty, supersedes ethnicity, nationality, race, gender, creed, religion, and all of the things that we tie to our lives. We tie these titles to ourselves, and these titles weigh so much weight, we forget that we can let the title go and just fly and be and be us, right? So the one thing I learned is everywhere you go, there is a melanated version of the light-skinned people that are there. So with that being said, I determined that black is not a color. No. Black is the source of all color. When I look at carbon, melanin, there is nothing blacker than carbon, right? There is nothing more. And when it comes to the sky, and I go out in the sky right now and I go stargaze, there is nothing that is superseding the blackness in the sky. When I look at a rainbow, I don't see white on the rainbow, I don't see gray on the rainbow, and I don't see black on the rainbow, right? But I can see every other color coming from the rainbow, right? And when you analyze this, man, when you analyze these nature coincidences or these nature evidences, right, you'll see that, wait a minute, black is not a color. Black is literally the actual page that all creation gets to write on. You understand what I'm saying? And so, to call it a color is to call it a color is to do it and give it and rip it of its power, because the source of color is basically exempt from the status of color, because it's the source of color, meaning any color black can make. Black can make any color. Therefore, remember, they tell you when you learn in Nation of Islam, you learn in more science, they tell you there are 46 shades to the black man. That represents your 23 chromosomes that come from your mama, the 23 chromosomes that come from your dad. Boom, that's 46 right there. Your 46 chromosomes. 6 plus 4 is 10. Knowledge born. You already know. Knowledge cipher. Sorry. Knowledge cipher. We already know. Cipher. You already know. Knowledge cipher. Right? So
peace, God.
Peace, God. We already know. So we already know the terminology, right? But they got a lot of people who are food and actually think black is an actual color, right? So I always tell people, when they say, what are you? I say, first and foremost, I'm God. I am God. The Bible says that I am God in Psalms 82:6. Jesus said that I am God in John 10:34. The kingdom of heaven is within. God living within the kingdom of heaven. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. That means seek ye first the kingdom of God. And if God is within and you're seeking the kingdom of God, you're supposed to be seeking inside of yourself. If you're seeking inside of yourself, it's nothing but black. Right now, all of your organs that are operating inside of your body are surrounded in darkness, blackness. Everybody. I don't care what color you are. Your heart is beating in the dark. I don't care what race you are. Right now, your organ, your liver, and everything is rumbling in the darkness. And when I put a seed into the ground, it goes into the black soil. It's pitch black. They can't see nothing. And the seed has to grow beyond the darkness and let there be light. Boom. And it was so. So the Bible shows you the process of darkness, that how much, matter of fact, the Bible shows you so much how darkness is needed. It shows you that God and the devil work on the same team in the book of Job.
Woo, woo,
In
woo,
the-
woo, 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 woo.
In the book of Job, it shows you. I keep telling you. I keep telling you that we are oxymorons.
How,
On one
Sway?
hand, black people give power. Ready? On one hand, black people give power to Jesus, power to power to God, and that power, one of those powers that they give to God, is called omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Right? So, if a being is omnipresent, that means that being literally exists within all.
Everything.
Everything, the good or the bad, the devil is included in that all.
All right,
Now,
so Sway, like Sway, how Sway? On some of your posts, you've mentioned that Jesus and Lucifer are
the same being.
synonymous.
So
the same
in
being.
Revelations, Jesus and Lucifer are synonymous. Remember, you look at the first half of the Bible is called the Old Testament for a reason. When you analyze the Old Testament, what goes on in the Old Testament? What God doing in the Old Testament? He murdering, he destroying, he killing. He let his prophets steal. He said, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife." David go and kill Bathsheba's husband and steal his wife. He said, "Thou shalt not kill." Jawbone Samson go kill 10 men with the jawbone of an ass. You see, 10,000 men with the jawbone of an ass. He says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Look at Noah sleeping with his daughters, right? It shows you time and time again how the Old Testament God is doing a lot of evil things, but we're calling it godly, right? How can a God tell you to go sacrifice your child and you still consider that a godly thing? But then when you look at the New Testament, and there's only one mention of Jesus, aka Lucifer, in the Old Testament, and it's in Isaiah. And it says, "Oh, Lucifer, how have you fallen from the heavens and weakened the nations," right? Now, I tell people, that is the story of man. That is the story of us. Aren't we from the stars? Don't they call us star seeds, right? Don't they say, in Hollywood, everybody trying to be a star, right? Dancing with the Stars, Star Trek, Star Wars, everything is about, these stars. Now, when you analyze, they call it, when you see a falling star, you make a wish, right? Now, if we are the seeds of stars and we've come down, aka fallen into these bodies, right? This is the story of Lucifer, light bringing, one who was up and fell down into a weakened nation. Remember, the body represents a weakened nation. In Galatians 4:22-24, it says that the story of Abraham is an allegory that symbolizes two nations, two covenants. You see? So they know that your body is the universe. They know that your body is a carbon copy of the overall mainframe of the universal structure. And when you incarnate as a spirit into this body, you have fallen. You have chosen to fall into a prism. Remember, when you're in this body, the only way you can leave is if something tragic or if death. That's the only thing that can claim you out of this body. You just can't leave this body and say, "Fuck it, I'm going back to heaven. I'm about to go back to chilling with Jesus. And me and Jesus, I don't like it down here, Jesus. I'm about to leave this body and the body gonna drop and you're gonna go back to heaven." No, it don't go like that, right? So when you analyze that we are spiritual, we are stars, we are actual light creatures, light beings. This is why they said, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." If you're letting this little light of mine shine, then you are a light bringer. Light bringer is Lucifer. Wait a minute. Now Jesus in Revelation. Now remember, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the light." Okay, the truth and the life. All right. But then in Revelations, he comes and says, "Yea, I am the bright and morning star." Jesus says it out of his mouth. "I, Jesus, am the bright and morning star." If you are a bright and morning star, that means, once again, you are Lucifer. Now, when you look at the New Testament, the New Testament is all about forgiveness. Barely nobody get killed. The only person that get killed is the Savior. Remember, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John starts off with the Christ directives, and all of the other books after that are reconfirming the Christ directives, the story of Christ, how he walked, how he talked, how he moved. Right? And you never really see God on no murderous wrath or anything like this. You see him healing. healing the sick, feeding the poor, giving knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the deaf, dumb, and blind, right? And so the First Testament or the New Testament or the Old Testament shows you the devilish side of God, and then the New Testament shows you the godly side of God. And they are basically, it's up to you to choose which one will you pick. This is what church is all about. Because you see a lot of pastors be evil, but you see other churches, a lot of pastors be good. Well, what they read in the Bible that this other pastor they read in the Bible? Well, no, they're reading the same thing. It's just that their hearts are in two different places. And so analyzing that we are light beings and we bring that light every time we shine our light, we are light bringers, aka Lucifer. Remember, Lucifer is not a name. Lucifer is a title. That's like me saying, hey, that's like me naming my child police officer. Who is going to really be like, you can't name your child police officer. You can't name your child firefighter. That is just a title. Well, Lucifer, a light bringer, that is a title. Satan, one who opposes. Satan, one who, the opposition, that is a title. But now when you get into real Hebrew doctrine and what the Bible was plagiarized from, from Hebrew to Greek to Latin to English, right? You'll see that, wait a minute, there are actual names to these particular Satans. There are actual names to these particular Christ beings. And these Christ beings and these satanic beings come with names. You'll read in the Hebrew, and Balaam. Balaam was a supposed prophet of God in the Bible, that the talking donkey stopped him from being killed by the angel, right? But when you look in the craft, Balaam is a demon. You see what I mean? So how can we take a plagiarized version of our African spirituality and call it the absolute overall truth? No, it's just a piece of the truth that's been spliced from our source, original African, Native American, whatever you like to call it, creation. And once you analyze that Jesus, the devil, God, everything is all the same thing. I tell people, God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. If you're omnipresent, that means you dwell within all. The devil is that part of that all that you dwell in, right? If you're omnipotent, that means you have power over all, right? And control over all. That means you definitely have the fall falls back on God's shoulders again, because now he has another power called omniscience, which means you know all, past, present, and future. You know what's going to happen before it happens. So when you created the devil, you knew the devil was going to turn on you, and you knew this game was going to start off as a game for the human soul, right? And the book of Job shows you that the devil and God makes a bet. They actually make a wager against Job's loyalty in life. And which Job is going to choose. They say, we're going to persecute Job. And this is why y'all got jobs right now. Everybody, the reason why y'all got a job is because of the book of Job in the Bible. And the reason why the job puts you through so much hell, because that's what happened to Job. They put him through all his hell, and he still stayed down on the job. Still stayed down. They took everything from him, and he still stayed down. And that's what they do you at your job. They take everything from you. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of your life given to this goddamn engine, and you don't even meet the owner of the goddamn company. And this is this is highway robbery of your energy, right? And so they show you time and time again how the God, especially in Job, how God and the devil work together, how Satan is an actual agent of the Lord. How you go look at the TV show Lucifer. They got a TV show on Fox called Lucifer, and Lucifer is not the bad guy. Lucifer is actually an agent of God that is in charge of hell for God.
Well, you know the Hebrew pretty well. So in Hebrew, what does Satan mean?
In Hebrew, Satan means enemy, opposition, or adversary. So it is a common noun, first and foremost. It's not a proper noun. It is a common noun. So the equivalent of Satan is today would be me, like the youngsters saying the ops. Like when them youngsters be saying in the rap, my ops, my opposition. Yeah. The ops stand for opposition. They're literally talking about their ops is literally the equivalent of saying my Satan.
Right, right. Yeah, like
that's the equivalent.
It's a hindrance. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. It's a hindrance. And I tell people that I said that God and Satan are one and the same being. Satan is just Satan is just the side of God that challenges you, while God is the actual side of God that nurtures you after you beat the challenge, that gives you guidance through the challenge. So God gives you guidance through the challenge, while Satan is the actual challenger that's putting you through the challenge. So God, this is why they show you on one shoulder. On one shoulder you'll have Satan, on the other shoulder you'll have God, right? One, the angel is whispering in your right ear, and on one, the demon is whispering in your left ear. And it's showing you that one is going to challenge you. Man, don't worry about that shit. And give you the challenging part. And one is going to nurture you. Man, you know you can do it, man. You know you can resist. You know you strong. You know you powerful. You don't got to fall for this trick, right? And you go through the tug of war of what choice, or the illusion of choice, because we think we got a choice, but we really don't have a choice. What is the choice? Well, think about it. Republican or Democrat. That's it. Hamburger or hot dog. Beer or wine. Right or wrong. Up or down. Left or right. You only got two choices. It's only an illusion. You only got two choices. You're either going to do good for yourself or you're going to do bad for yourself. Either or, you're going to do one or the other. Now, if you call that a choice, then so be it. But I call that the illusion of choice. I call that an option, not a choice, right? And so with that being said, we have to realize this as Black people, that we have the option to choose which part of God that is within us that we want to tap into, because I keep telling you that God has multiple personality disorder, and you are just one of the personalities.
Ashe. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion, I guess the last 30 years of my life, that the angel on this side and the angel on that side, they're both God. They're both Almighty. Because you can't spell Allah without spelling all. You can't spell Almighty without spelling all. So that's incredible. Go ahead.
When you look at that, think about this. I keep telling you, you can't give God these powerful attributes, and then when it's time to exercise the imagination and wonder and see and analyze how God is using these powerful attributes, then you will resort back to your human cognitive dissonance and say God can't do that, right? So if I say that God, if the word says that God is omnipresent means it dwells within all. And so I tell people, why are you crying when God is the actual baby that's being killed and the actual baby killer, right? Why are you weeping when God is the actual person that is being murdered and the actual murderer? Okay, that's what omnipresence is. I dwell within all. So that means God lives inside of the pedophile, people. God lives inside of the whoremonger. God lives inside of the motherfucking evilest, the most evilest, treacherous person on the face of the planet Earth. God lives inside of them. The most evilest creature or being on the face of the planet Earth, God is living there inside of them, monitoring, watching, logging. The Quran in Islam, they say you have an angel that's jotting down all your good deeds, and you got another angel that's jotting down all your bad deeds. This is a symbology of God's consciousness recording whether you tapped into the part of God that is righteous, or you tapped into the part of God that is evil. Remember, the Bible says it in the Bible. God says he created good and evil. Remember this now. God says out of his own mouth that he created good and evil. I created this, said the Lord. Watch this here. God, ready? Here you go. And it's Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. And God says, I form the light and create the darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. There go that word all again. So the Lord is admitting out of his own mouth with his own verbiage that, number one, I create good. So God ain't good all the time. So stop saying that in church. God is good all the time. It's a fucking lie. Because God just admitted it out of his own mouth that, and I create evil. I, the Lord, create all these things. Now, if you look at the word evil spelled backwards, and this guy right here, what we doing right now, lie. Live. You look at the word devil spelled backwards, you got the word live. Look at the word love spelled backwards, you got the word evolve, and then add a VE, and you got evolve. When you look at the word God spelled backwards, you got dog. This is why a dog is a man's best friend, and this is why a human is a God's best friend. Okay? And analyze this word war. When you look at the word war backwards, you got raw. This is why I became a raw vegan, declaring war on acidic bodies, right? So analyze all of these, analyze the omnipotence and the omnipresence and the omniscience of the Creator, and you'll never be able to say, "Oh no, that ain't God's plan. Nope, that wasn't God's plan." Nah, everything is working according to the grand design of the Creator, God's plan. And once we get in tune with that grand design, then we become Christ-like. We become God-like, just like the Bible says.
Like the Bible said.
The Bible, and you wonder how certain people are able to get the religion and be so successful at it, and how other people get it and don't get it at all, and they're still just at the same place where they at when they started with the religion.
Well, look. I want to also take this time to talk about this and to talk about this.
That's Jesus.
So we
in the
just
Bible.
talked to Jesus juice, right? We talked about the Bible. So on your website, we can find the affirmation Bible. So what I have on the below is your website and your direct telephone number. So if folks want to get in contact with you, they can catch up with you on IG. They can catch up with you on Facebook, FB, or what is it? Federal
Chakra.
Bureau.
Remember, I tell people, remember they call it the Lamb's Book of Life. So I keep telling y'all the codes of the Bible. The codes of the Bible. They said it's the Lamb's Book of Life. Well, let's analyze Facebook, all right? And analyze sorcery and understand that Mark Zuckerberg is a CIA wizard, and the CIA are wizards, okay, that practice high magic and sorcery. Okay, so let's understand this. Facebook, it's called the Lamb's Book of Life.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Facebook has facial recognition technology. Everybody who uses Facebook, it's a book of faces. This is what Facebook, a book of your faces, of facial recognition technology, right? When you analyze the Lamb's Book of Life, remember the Lamb is AKA Aries, the ram, the head. This is why I said God is the head and not the tail. This is why they call it the Lamb of God, right? The Lamb of God that represents Aries. Now, when you talk about the Lamb's Book of Life, you're talking about the head. Aries, but what's on your head? Your face. Hence the term Facebook. It is a book of literal faces, facial recognition technology. And everything starts, remember, I keep telling you, everything correlates and communicates with everything. All of the different algorithms. The Facebook algorithm communicates with the Google algorithm, communicates with the LinkedIn algorithm, communicates with the Instagram, and so on and so forth. It's a chain. It's a link chain of communication, and the whole overall purpose is to gain data so that they can predict your next move before you even know it, right? And so when you talk about Facebook, understand you're talking about a CIA, FBI, DIA, NSA program, and this NSA program is to, number one, log everybody who we can through facial recognition technology and software, so that when we create the metaverse, like they're doing right now, your character will already be digitally imprinted into the world. You understand?
So your avatar is already there.
Now remember, you don't understand this. You don't understand the magic in that. If there's a digital copy representation of you somewhere, then that is a representation of your overall energy. That is a representation of a piece of your energy. So now, you done got a Facebook page. Say, F Facebook, I don't want to do Facebook no more, right? But they still got your face. They still got everything that you did while you had a Facebook page. Just because you deactivated your page and stopped doing your page don't mean they don't got the data from the things that you were doing and the activity that you were doing. And just because you quit Facebook, think about all the people that died, right? That had a Facebook, but they're still going to be alive in the metaverse. Think about this. Okay, now these digital imprints or these digital representations are actual energy representations of you. Now, I keep telling people, y'all watch what y'all do on the internet, watch what y'all do on these multimedia platforms, because these are digital representations of who you are, and what happens in the digital world can and will manifest and come about into your physical world. You ever met, I don't know if y'all watching this right now, I don't know if y'all familiar with this, but have you ever been posting something, right? Or you ever been looking at something or like something, and that thing that you like or that thing that you posted or that thing that you looked at, all of a sudden you see it right down the street. all of a sudden it's right next to you, and you like, how the hell did that happen, right? And you don't
Houseway.
So the one thing we don't understand is RAS, the reticular activation system. And the reticular activation system is the part of your brain that is able to filter out all of the bullshit that your brain goes through in the day and says, whatever you focus on the most, fly guy, then that's what I'm going to focus on the most. So if you ever notice, when you got a Honda, you probably started noticing Hondas a little bit more. Or you ever notice when you got a purple shirt and you became a Q-Dog, you probably been you probably been Omega Psi-Phi, right? You probably noticed and ran into more people that were with Omega Psi-Phi after you became a member. Before you became a member, you was looking for them. Where they at? Where they at? After you became a member, you started running to them like crazy because your brain now associates you with that thing. And whatever that thing is, your brain will seek that particular thing out because your brain thinks that's what you want. Right?
Let me get you to hold for just a second. Don't move. Hey, what's up, Queen Stephanie? Yeah, this is going to be live. You can check this out on the Our Black Empowerment YouTube channel. You can also find it on the Chakra Doctor's YouTube channel. I'm sure he's going to post it on the chakradoctor.com as well. So this video, this live will be saved.
Get on code.
Get on code, baby. Get on. Well, she's already on code.
I'm the guy, I'm the guy that writes magical algorithms and give them to people in their email and their life change, bro. I've been on code. You know what I mean? I always tell people, man, the game in life is all about code. It's all about the codex. Remember, it's called a code of honor, or this code, or you got to crack this code, or, light codes, or these different codes. Codes are just a sequence of numbers that unlock certain rewards within treasures and mysteries, right? Codes.
All right, well, continue from where you were just before.
Oh yeah, reticular activation system. So the reason why you may notice that, oh, I got me a Ford, and now ever since I got me a Ford, I know there's more Fords on the road, because your body and your brain says that this is what you're occupying yourself with at this time. So this is what we're going to focus and single out in the environment. And whatever we see it, we're going to bring it to the forefront of your consciousness. This is how your brain works. So when your reticular activation system is where Black people's reticular activation system, let's go. When you call the average Black person right now in the hood, if I call the average Black person right now, hello, and you ask them what you're doing, they're going to tell you what? Nothing. Just chilling. Right? Your reticular activation system, well, guess what? Their reticular activation system is going to focus on nothing and just chilling. Okay? And this is what you guys got to realize. This is why they said death and life is in the power of the tongue. And this is why, they always tell you that the words of your mind are the gods of your mind. And in the beginning, it was the Word was God, the Word was with God, and that Word manifested flesh. You think Bill Gates called it Microsoft Word for no reason? Or do you think that words hold more power than you actually think? And they told you sticks and stones could break my bone, but your words could never hurt me. But they never said, well, what your words going to do you. See, they told me that fly guys' words can't hurt me, and fly guys' words can't hurt me unless I let them. But they never told me about the self-talk and the things that I tell myself. That's what's going to hurt me the most or help me the most. They didn't tell me that. I had to learn that through trial and error. Right?
Preach.
About reticular activation system, always notice the trouble. I used to always say things like I got bad feet. And my feet stayed getting swollen and inflammation and things of that nature. I used to say things like I'm bad with names. And I never used to remember nobody's name, right? I used to say, you hear a lot of Black people say I got bad nerves. And you see a lot of Black people are impatient. They don't know how to have a virtue of patience and kindness and compassion and all these things because they got bad nerves. We always throw these titles on ourselves as Black people. And then when these titles start manifesting in our lives, we say, oh, such a tragedy, he died too soon. Well, last time I checked, he made an album called Ready to Die, Biggie. You were supposed to die. Last time I checked, Tupac had an album cover with him crucified on the cross. You were supposed to die, brother. You crucified your own self. You see, when I go look at all of the rappers who died, and all of the rappers who died rapped about death before they died, and they died. Go look at all of the rappers who rapped about money, riches, and cars and clothes, and them motherfuckers is lit right now to they cash money, bling bling, still bling blinging. What's the Young Dolph hoax? Okay.
All right, I couldn't help it, man. You went there to hip hop. You started saying that
Yeah.
what you saith becometh. You
Okay.
were saying that you talk about dying and you die. So what happened with young Dolph? Because I understand from what. Go ahead. Let me shut up. I'm just gonna shut up and learn.
I'm gonna tell you it's a hoax. Number one, number one reason why I'm gonna tell you it's a hoax. You ready? It's simple. Go back and look at the Young Dolph footage and whatever footage you can find on the Young Dolph scene. And there's one key component that is missing from this scene that happens at every murder scene that has a shooting gun that's shot that many times. And the one thing that is missing at this murder scene is blood. You can't find a scrap ounce, milliliter, nothing of blood at this scene, and he's supposedly been shot 22 times. You know what that number? They got that sacred number. He was shot 22 times, right? At a cookie shop getting milk and cookies with a bulletproof armored car. You got shot 22 times, and then not only did you get shot 22 times, you go look at the window where he got shot at. They didn't even aim above 3 feet. They aimed their guns no higher than 3 feet. Look at the window. Young Dolph is 6 feet 2 inches tall. He's a tall man. If he's standing up in the cookie shop waiting on his cookie, that's what the news say. The news said he in the cookie shop getting milk and cookies. He in the black. Look how they try to defame a black man. He in the milk shop. He in the cookie shop getting milk and cookies and got blamed. You see how that go? That's what they try to paint. They try to paint this image of black death all throughout our consciousness so that we can accept that no matter what we do in life, black people are going to die. Even our rich people die. Look at them. Even our rich die. Now, look what happens. Young Dolph, go look at the scene. There is not 1 ounce of blood. Red flag number one. That was the red flag number one. You ready? You might not like this, but that was the red flag number one I seen in the Malcolm X case. Go back and look at the Malcolm X murder. There is not 1 drop of blood. He got hit with bro. I've come from the streets. I am from the trenches. I've seen people get their head blown off right next to me. Blood everywhere. So much so, bro. One dude got shot. I'll just give you this one example. One dude, when I was in the hood, got shot at least 20-something feet away from me, and blood still made it to my side of the street.
Ooh.
The blood splatter still made it to my side of the street. You're saying that Young Dolph got hit 22 times with a Draco AK-47, and you don't see not 1 ounce of any kind. You don't see not 1 chunk of hair, a piece of hair, body, nothing. You don't see nothing. All you see is what supposedly is an arm, a black arm hanging out a window. Now, wait a minute. Forensic science tells me that when a person is surprised, because they say he was in his phone, he was in a shop on the phone with his friend, and the gunman ran upon him and surprised him, right? When you're surprised and somebody's shooting at you, you're going to run away from those shots. You're not going to run towards the window so much so that when you drop and your body hit the ground, your arm is going to be hanging out of the window like a movie prop. No. When the boy hitting you with the Draco and he's shooting, you're going to try to run for cover. That's what your freeze, fight, or flight mentality says in your autonomic nervous system. So how in the heck you standing up doing this with your phone, somebody starts shooting and you run towards the window so much so that your arm is hanging out the window when you pass and drop? Okay, let's say your arm is hanging out the window when you pass and drop. When you pass and your arm fell in that window, it fell into that glass. That glass was supposed to go into your arm. Your arm was supposed to bleed, and we're supposed to have blood right there by the goddamn glass. We don't see not 1 speck of blood by the shattered glass. A crime scene, a murder scene without blood is not a murder scene. It is a hoax. Period. And there's nothing on God's green earth that you can tell me that will make me believe. Go look at Alpo scene. Alpo just got murdered, right? Why is there any blood from the truck? He got shot. He's supposed to be got shot 16, 17 times. Where is the blood leaking out of the truck? They were supposed to go look at King Vaughn's scene. King Vaughn got shot. No blood in the parking lot. Go look. Go look at Mo 3's scene. Mo 3 got shot. Can anybody show me the blood from Mo 3's scene? Can anybody show me the blood from King Vaughn's scene? Can anybody show me the blood from Young Dolph's scene? Can anybody show me the blood from any Can anybody show me the blood from Tupac? Go look at Tupac. See, you don't see not one speck of blood. He got shot, and your boy supposed to got grazed in the head. Where's the blood? No blood. Every time you look at these cases, look at Nipsey Hussle. Go look at the Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle got shot 6 times. He does not have no blood on the scene. Go back and look and rewind the tape. You are living in the age of the information era. All you gotta do is rewind the tape and analyze pixel for pixel. No blood, no crime. But guess what happened though? Because of Young Dolph's, because remember, his name was Adolph. His name was Adolph. Let's get this clear. His name was Adolph. His cousin, Juice WRLD, just died a year or 2 ago, quote unquote. We didn't see nobody with that. We ain't see nobody. We ain't see no funeral. And that's another thing. You see the funeral, no open caskets. You see these funerals? Whitney had an open casket. Remember Whitney when Whitney died? Everybody took pictures of Whitney. They didn't do that with Michael Jackson. They didn't do that with Kobe Bryant. They didn't do that with Tupac. They didn't do that with Biggie. They didn't do that with. Come on, go name all the people who died. Go look at all of the telltale signs of abnormalities of funeral. Not one had an open casket. Nobody can say they had a picture of Biggie in the casket. Show me one picture. Show me one picture of Biggie in the casket. Show me one picture of Tupac. Of Tupac, with blood, at the scene of the crime. Show me that graze wound that supposedly grazed your head. Right? These are supposed to be wounds, right? And these dudes do anything for clout. Like the song said, they do anything for clout. They do anything for. So in the era of clout, you trying to tell me Young Dolph just got hit 22 times before the police come? None of you old hood rat motherfuckers went and came and said next to the family dollar and said, "Oh my God, World Star, Young Dolph got killed." Remember, they'll put a fight on World Star. Boop, 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 boop. Teenagers fighting in school on World Star. You trying to tell me a major rapper from Tennessee, Memphis, got murdered and not one person got the footage of the murder, of the after scene of the murder before the police arrived, and he was surrounded by people? Across the street from a gas station next door to a Family Dollar, he just got shot, the biggest rapper in Memphis, and nobody recorded and said, "Oh God, y'all, they got Dolph. Oh y'all, look at him, they got Dolph." No, only footage you can see is inconclusive footages. They don't even show you a video of the scene. They only show you clips. They only show you still shots. They show you these still shots of these supposed assailants. But we don't see no real evidence. Show me one real solid evidence that proves to you beyond the shadow of a doubt. Remember, our court system says beyond the shadow of a doubt. Show me one piece of evidence that proves to you beyond the shadow of a doubt, that shows you beyond the shadow of a doubt that Young Dolph was actually really murdered.
Deep. Yo, man, tell me about Love Gang, bro.
Love Gang.
I had to switch it up, man. I had to switch it up.
All day.
I had to switch it up, man.
All day. You got to switch it up every day, all day. So, analyze Love Gang. Love Gang is the gang that I started to combat gang violence. Charleston White said in an interview that gangs hurt black people more than slavery, right? And to a big degree, he was right. Gangs are killing more black people than slavery. You look at what's going on with the number rate in the Chicago gangs, the New York gangs, the California gangs, and all of these gangs. Gang violence is the number one reason for black on black violence. Black on black crime is because of gang violence. Okay? Now, if you analyze the rappers that they let into these so-called gatekeeping rappers that they let into our forefront, all of them promote some type of a gang.
Okay.
All of them. Okay? If you look at what's going on, the police, the fraternal order police, that's a gang, man.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's
I'm gonna let you talk. Keep talking, man.
It's a gang. So I decided to start a gang based on love. And we don't dap and give we don't dap and bust slugs, nigga. We shake hands and give hugs. See, it take a man to hug another man and say I love you. It take a man. That's a real Christ-like being that can hug his fellow black man and say I love you, fellow black man. hug his fellow black woman, and protect his fellow black woman, no matter who she is. I don't care if she's not your mama, your crazy sister, your cousin. You see her getting done dirt, you see her getting dealt dirty in the street, you stand up for that black woman because that's your motherfucking race. Last time I checked. So love, gang, is all about loving yourself, loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and we put that on game. You know what I mean? So definitely.
We put that on gang. Okay,
On
I
gang.
dig that. I dig that. Tell me about FCA yoga, because I want to go through some of the things that you bring to the table. Everyone's going to love the information and your perspective, but you actually have product and you have services. So let's start with the services. Tell me about FCA yoga, man.
FCA yoga is why I'm the chakra doctor. FCA yoga, I'm the only black man to date on log right now, and it's patent on record, to create his own yoga. Everybody else are practicing a yoga that some other ethnicity outside of black is laid claim to or laid ownership to. FCA yoga is a guided meditation that activates all 29 of your chakras coursing throughout your body as a physical representation that the chakras are real. And FCA yoga is what I use to, number one, turn my life around for the greatest and for the better. And then number two, I take my life around for the greatest and the better. And then number two, oh, wait a minute. You gotta pause that. All right. I think it's playing through the thing. All right. There ain't no. You know, that's heart chakra activated. And so that's the that's how I became chakra doctor, those chakras, right? And
yo, that's dope, man. I just gotta stop you. That was dope, man. I just went to the site and I started getting that energy.
If you look at the movie Doctor Strange, that's what the whole movie about is, Doctor Strange, the chakras. If you ever watched the TV show or the cartoon anime Dragon Ball Z, that's what those 7 Dragon Balls are about, the 7 chakras. The reason why God created the earth in 7 days, because those 7 days represent the 7 chakras. The reason why they got 7 heavens, because those 7 heavens represent the 7 chakras. The reason why 777 is the lucky number when at the casino when you hit the jackpot, because those 7s represent the chakras. The reason why 7 is the letter of God and the G in the alphabet that represents Freemasonry is because that shit represents the chakras. Okay, and the keyword to chakra is Ra, which shows you, once again, black people. Black people invented Ra. Black people worshipped Ra. And chakra is a splice of that original worship and reverence and homage that black people used to give to the sun. We used to call the sun, white people call the sun sun. We never called the sun sun. We used to call the sun Ra. Feel me? So we used to call the sun Ra, right? And chakra represents and it stands and it literally means a circle of light, a sphere of light, or a wheel of light. When you look at the Most High in the sky, the sun, it is a circle of light. When you look at the sun in the sky, it is a sphere of light. When you look in the sun in the sky, it is a wheel of light. Chakra.
What does the word church mean?
Church
means circle.
Oh, well, church means church.
A circle of believers. Circle of believers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Circle of energy. Yeah.
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 And temple, church, synagogue, mosque, masjid, all of it is the same thing. A place that you bring your invisible energy and you exert that invisible energy and give that invisible energy to something higher than yourself, right? Or that what you believe is higher than yourself. So when it comes to FCA yoga is the yoga that I created, and I've healed so many people with FCA yoga. I've turned so many people's lives around with FCA yoga alone, and that's for free on my website. So when you go on my website, click on the tab, you click on FCA yoga, it's a guided meditation. I would love to activate you. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna activate the fly guy chakras on my channel. Go come on my channel, and I'm gonna activate your chakras. And we're gonna talk. And after I activate your chakra for 15 minutes, we're gonna talk about some things. We're gonna talk about the fraternity shit. You understand me? We're gonna talk about the fraternity stuff.
Let's talk, man. Let's talk. Ashe, let's do that.
You know, there's a conspiracy theory against the fraternities now.
Oh yeah, we catching it right now too, man.
Yeah, you know they say fraternities are the secret organizations that rule the world.
Well, the term, if you
look
look
at
fraternity,
Denzel Washington is Omega Psi Phi. You know, Wesley Snipes. You know, you got a lot. Michael B. Jordan. You got a lot of famous gatekeeping Hollywood black brothers that are men.
Farrakhan finally crossed.
Farrakhan finally crossed over. You know.
Now he started way back in the day, but he finally crosses a bruh. We have a lot of bruhs who are, infamous, who have some notoriety to them.
So is it a coincidence? So is it a coincidence? I'm asking you.
Okay.
Is it a coincidence that all of the top people, that 85 to 90% of the top people in all of the top genres of leading industry today are a part of some sort of fraternity or sorority? Is that a coincidence?
That's how it's built. That's how it's built. And so I tell people this all the time, all demons ain't bad and all angels ain't good. You know what I mean? I tell people that all the time. All demons ain't bad, all angels ain't good. And we have to know how to pick our battle. I don't care what fraternity you join. Guess what? You look like me. That's all that matters. Right. See? What? And when we look back, particularly,
the biggest fraternity on earth is the black fraternity.
Is us. When we look at the history of black empowerment, you're gonna find brothers like Booker T. Washington. You're gonna find brothers like what's the brother from the Puerto Rican brother? He has a museum in New York City named after him.
Oh, I don't know.
He's the one that he created the term Afro-Boricua.
Or Afro-Latino or Afro.
Right.
Okay.
He created Afro-Boricua because one of his teachers said that the black man has never created anything. And he said, well, since I'm black, soy negro, I'm going to study it. And he found all this stuff. He left Puerto Rico. He came to the United States and he started hanging out with Carter G. Woodson, who's a bruh. He started hanging out with Carter G. Woodson. Now, this brother, I can't think of his name right now, man. He's a Kappa. And then you're gonna find.
So what is your opinion? I want to, as much as you can disclose. I know, I already know how politically correctness goes. Yeah, I know how political correctness goes, man. I'm so glad I forged my path through, high sorcery, and I can say whatever I want, and right. But even then, I still don't say whatever I want because I know YouTube has metrics and everything has an algorithm that reads the codes, right? And
when you in your parents' house, you speak a certain way. When you in your own house, you speak a certain way.
Exactly.
Ashe, yeah.
Ashe, exactly. So as much as you can, I'm trying to dig into your conspiracy theory mind right now, because that's that. I am the world. I am the conspiracy theory. I don't even believe in conspiracy theories because there's no such thing as a conspiracy theory when I can show you evidence that proves it's real. Okay? All right? So, what is your take on the brotherhood takeover, right? When you go across the world, there is a significant amount of evidence that proves and shows that the fraternal orders of the world run the world, right? Mark Zuckerberg, he's a brotherhood member. Sergio Brin, brotherhood member. P. Diddy. You go look, either they honorary brotherhood or they got in straight through college brotherhood, right?
Well, P. Diddy is not a part of the Divine Nine. So those are the historically black fraternities and sororities organizations. I don't know if he has.
Wait a minute. The Divine Nine. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait, you're going too fast. Wait. You're jumping and the cow jumped over the moon. You can't do that. You can't jump over the moon. Yeah, we ain't going. Wait. So I want you to explain. Give us a quick little brief with the Divine Nine, because a lot of people don't know about that. All right.
Right.
All right. So,
and that's the Panhellenic Council. That's the organization of the historically black fraternities and sororities coming together. The I hate to use this term boule, but if you will, but
Yeah, the boule.
We use that term. We use that term. We do use that term because we use Greek and we use Latin terms to describe the hierarchy.
Okay.
We describe the hierarchy. So
all right.
You put together the alphas.
So I'm asking you this question right here. I want to ask you this question. I just want to ask you this question. On a percentage scale, I can stay safe in this world right here. Okay. On a percentage scale, because I know there's two sides to every chessboard. I know there's the Jedi, I know the fucking dark side. You can't tell me fucking Star Wars. On a percentage scale, how much of control would you say that is actually, evil, real, just evil people, doing some evil things, or is it are people is it a misperception of the brotherhood? Is the brotherhood really? Are there parts and factions within brotherhoods that are actually meaning people good, or is it all like people think it is? What on a percentage scale, like on a percent, how much of it on a percentage scale? You ain't gotta say nothing else. Hey, y'all probably got about 30% right. Y'all probably got about 40% right. Y'all probably got about 80% right. How much a percentage scale does the conspiracy theory community, in your opinion?
In my opinion.
Only your opinion. This is not, this is just an opinion, just for entertainment purposes, because I love to entertain the people with what ifs. I love the 55. Right. I love Think and Grow Rich, and they had a part in the back of the book called The 55 Alibis of Old Man If. And like if was a fifth, I'll be drunk. If we was on a boat right now, who would you save? And just saying, the what if, right? So just on a percentage scale, if the conspiracy, how much? What's their percentage right versus that shit is just complete no.
All right. I'm going to answer in two sections. The first section, Divine Nine, I might say 10% because I don't know everything. All right. Divine Nine, that's going to be the alphas. The
10%
omegas.
Good, 10% bad?
Oh, I'm talking about evil. 10% evil.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to say, so when I'm talking about Divine Nine or the Panhellenic Council, I'm looking at the Alpha Phi Alphas, the Omega Psi Phis, the Kappa Alpha Psis, the Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma, Sigma Gamma Rho, Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha. I'm missing two others that's not coming to my remembrance right now. But so when I talk about the Divine Nine or the Panhellenic Council, and I didn't mean to demean anybody I left out. I want to say 10%. I want to say 10%. And that 10% is involved with, here's the other part, Skull and Bones, Trilateral Commission. We've read the Trilateral Commission or the Conspiracy of the 300. Those fraternal and sorority organizations,
even though they're few, they're very powerful. That's what you're saying.
Those are the groups that are doing things to control society. Now, out of the Divine Nine, maybe 10% of us get involved in that level, but we're not doing it through our organizations. You have to join Skull and Bones and some of those Euro white supremacist, take over the world.
You gotta get hazed.
You gotta get, it's different. It's totally different, man. It's totally different. So I do a presentation. I did this presentation. It's on YouTube on the African origins of fraternity, sororities, and Masonry. And I tell in that presentation how the roots of those organizations can be traced back to, what we call Mother Africa. And we're not saying that Africa was the pinnacle. We're saying that it's the seat of the royalty when the whole world is the pinnacle. The whole world is ours, and Africa may have simply been a part of the royal throne at one point. Okay. So The Divine Nine organizations, they are set up by primarily people of African and indigenous descent who were set up to improve our lives. Out of those who get involved in the Divine Nine organizations, maybe 10%, and I'm not saying because I know this, I'm speculating, get involved in some of those other organizations and who are really trying to control society. Fraternal Order of Police is a fraternity. You know, you can get involved in Skull and Bones, and Skull and Bones is dealing with politics. So a lot of people involved in the high level of politics, in the in the Senate and the Congress, that those fraternities and sororities and those organizations, they create policy that in many ways demeans and keeps people subservient. Being involved with Omega Psi Phi, I don't get a chance to make policy that keeps people subservient. I don't make that level of policy. I can't do it. Nobody in our organizations get that chance. There might be 10% who get a chance to move into the other organizations who will have that influence. So when I look at the conspiracy and they talk about fraternities, they ain't really talking about us. They talking about them. So that's my position. Now, of course, you know, people are going to say that I'm sticking up for the Panhellenic Counselor for my organization.
Right.
But the truth is, I don't know. But I have studied Skull and Bones and what they've done. I have studied the Trilateral Commission and the Committee of 300 and some of those other organizations, the Rothschilds, you know, how you have to do blood sacrifices and rituals to get involved in some of those organizations. They ain't us.
Right.
They are not what we're involved in. But because we're involved in fraternities and sororities, we kind of get lumped together. So,
okay.
So that's my answer. Let's go.
That's a pretty great answer, man. You know, from your, you know, I respect, you know, where you're coming from.
I want to talk about this, man, because I definitely want you to get your due. I want you to get your due, and I can see, brother, that this is the first of many conversations we're going to do.
My baby.
Talk about miracle foods.
Jesus in a bottle. I'm talking about make Jesus black again. Jesus already black again in that bottle. When you
Jesus juice, right?
Is
this what Michael Jackson was talking about?
And no, man, and you know, in California they call me Dr. Sabi #2. In LA. And when I left New Orleans to pursue health and wellness, because I seen that's where we lack the most as a black people. I came with the #1 mission: heal black people. I mean, heal black people. When I say black people, I'm talking about the 40 million people who don't have the identity, the 40 million people over here on this soil who don't have their names, their identities, and their God, and everything has been, you know, whitewashed, plagiarized, and in any kind of other way. I specifically said, and I specifically think, and I specifically believe that we are the ultimate royalty of creators, chosen people on the face of the planet Earth now, today. We are that great Anunnaki race, our descendants from that, you know, from that upper echelon of extraterrestrial origin. Earth is not our Earth is not our home base, and you know, Earth is not our first place we've ever been. You know, we everywhere. I feel like right now, if you incarnate and go to the constellation of Aries, or you go to the constellation of Libra, or you go to the constellation, what's your zodiac sign, Brother Fly Guy?
Sagittarius, man. I was born December 19th.
My business partner is a Sagittarius. My moon is a Sagittarius. My daughter's moon is a Sagittarius. If I Google the constellation of Sagittarius, I feel like if we land on a planet in Sagittarius, they're gonna have a nigga like me look like that. I swear. That's just, you know, from the evidences of all of the ancient things that have been found that shows that we are these genius people. All right. So always remember where I'm coming from. I'm coming from an Emotep belief system. I believe that there's no such thing as disease, and Miracle Food proves you that there's no such thing as disease. There's only such thing as human error, because our bodies are machines and our brains are computers. Now, what kind of machine is our body? They say our body is a vessel. They say our body is a vehicle. Well, when you look at, there's a carbon copy of our body every day, and you see it. It is called a car, right? And the car is a vehicle. And so when you look at the dynamics of the car, it mirrors the dynamics of your body. A car needs water, just like you need water. I don't know if you're drinking enough water, but you definitely need enough water. 75 to 85% of your body is water. 75 to 85% of the earth is water. 75 to 85% of our language is nonverbal water. This is why Bruce Lee said, be like water. Okay? So all cars need water. Then, number 2, all cars need gas. This shows you again that our body mimics that. When you put that particular thing into your mouth and you chew it, and it makes it into your stomach, and that stomach acid turns it into a liquid, that liquid becomes your body's gas, so much so that you even call it passing gas. Okay? So all cars need gas. Now, are you putting the right gas in your gas tank? I don't know. But I do know all cars need a little gas to get the car, the vehicle, from point A to point B, because these bodies are vehicles. And Bruce Lee was a Sagittarius too. Dang. You feel me? So then when you look at that proponent, right? And then the third thing that all cars need is what? Oil. All cars need oil. But how many human beings wake up and intentionally put healthy oils in our car and say, I am taking this oil so that the mileage, the activity, the action, the road wear that I get on this car will be maximized, because I have the thing inside of my body that keeps everything smoothly running and no friction, no block up, no buildup. What? Oil. But the only oil that we human beings in America put into our body are the oils from fat foods, fried foods. That's the only oils we put in our body. The oils that are not natural. Moringa, black seed, CBD with no THC, and beetroot oil are found in Miracle Food, meaning moringa oil, black seed, high milligram moringa. It's not just any moringa. It's over 5,000 milligrams of moringa oil. You dig? You got your CBD with no THC oil. You got your black seed oil, and you got your beetroot oil. Okay? Along, and you see right there, and it comes with a tea. Miracle tea. The tea is 9 different herbs. Everything ranging from Renusan to Damiana to Baldo to Canalita. It is amazing. You put those 9 herbs with these 4 superfoods, and that is a 13 herbal superfood combo that your DNA, your cells are going to love. This is why it's called an intracellular cleansing. This is why they call me Dr. Sebi #2, because Dr. Sebi was the first person to coin that term, intracellular cleansing and intracellular chelations. And after meeting him in 2014 and getting educated by Dr. Sebi in 2014, a few of his things and a few of his philosophies, I said, I'm going to tweak and do it Chakra Doctor's way. And so Dr. Sebi, all of the ingredients found in this regimen, you cannot find it in Dr. Sebi's arsenal, because I decided to forge a different path, because I know my body is a machine and my brain is a computer. What does it mean, my brain a computer? Science proved that our brain holds 10 petabytes, P-E-T-A, petabytes of data, which means that our brain is walking around with 10 million gigs. gigs. Your brain is functioning on 10 million gigs. You ready for this? Those 10 million gigs that your brain is functioning on tells the rest of your body what the motor, call it motor skills, engine. Remember, your heart is your engine. You got your motor, you got your transmission, saying you are a car, right? And now you got this. You look at all of these components of your body being a car, and you analyze yourself through that lens. But do we analyze through ourselves through that lens? No. But these 10 petabytes of data that is fueling this body, guess what? Your body burns gas. Y'all call it calories, right? And so every day they said 22,000 to 2,200 automatic, just for your heart to beat and for you to be alive, it is going to burn 2,200 calories or 2,000 calories, right? So automatically, you're going to burn 2,000 calories per day just because your heart is going nonstop. It is the only organ on your body that works nonstop and it don't have a day off. God don't play no games. And when you look at what powers a heart and keep going, right? But anyway, you put that oil in your body, and now guess what? Those same things that were getting clogged in your body are getting flushed out of your body, right? The same friction you used to gain. Now, this is profound information, folks. Take note. Yeah, all day. You feel me? And I've healed, and I'm just gonna keep it vague because I know YouTube got metrics. I've healed everything with Miracle Food. Everything, bro. That's why they call me Dr. Sabi #2. Over 35,000 bottles of Miracle Food sold, over 25,000 patients touched, and I started this in 2015. I started the journey in 2015. I incorporated in 2017, became fully incorporated in 2017, and me and my business partner have been getting it out the mud, and I've been proving to everybody that this method works. When you look at, and I remember, and that is a secure website. I have a no complaint record. Literally 7 years doing this. I don't have not one complaint. Nope, there's nobody that could come and tell you Miracle Food did not work for them.
All right. Well, if I remember correctly, you were the first patient. You were the first person that you healed.
Mm-hmm.
You're a product of your product. So
yes,
let's go back just a little bit, just to give a little context. You were suicidal?
Oh, going back to give a little context. Number one, I'm come from poverty. I come from suicide attempts. My mother died when I was 16 on Christmas Day. And I'm the only child of my mother and my father. And so that was my world. That was the day my world, fell apart, and my journey of finding who I am without her began. Right. And so being in that predicament and being in that situation, I learned how to error. Everybody is going to make an error. Everybody's going to make errors in their life. You're either going to make them early in life and then get the rest of your life right, or you're going to make them, you're going to get the rest of you get the life right first, and then you start making errors later. But you're going to make the errors, right? And so a lot of the errors that I made were following the wrong people, delving off into unknown magics without having my knowledge and my wisdom and my understanding up to par, so I couldn't be taken for a fool, right? Trying to commit suicide, addiction. Literally, I tried to commit suicide twice. Try to do it the pussy way. I ain't trying to do it I try to overdose on drugs and do it because I didn't want to shoot myself, or I'm not about to stab myself or shoot myself. I'm about to just try to take me some drugs, right? Addiction, right? Homelessness, poverty. Like, I come from the worst of the worst. I come from beating recidivism. Beating recidivism, man. I came home from jail. I've been home from jail on going almost 10 years. No, never going back. That's over with and done with, because you learn from your mistakes. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says, when I became a man, I put away the childish things. So a lot of times you see people right now They are doing childish things. And you can tell they're not men yet. So we're calling these people men, but they're not men. They don't even have no courses in training in manhood. They're not protecting, they're not serving, they're not maintaining, they're not sustaining, and they're not providing for the Black community. But we are relying on these so-called men who ain't doing nothing for us. So this is why I'm really hell-bent on, you know, hey, you know, what sense of it to have all of this Black wealth? What sense of it to have all of this Black everything if we are not trying to give this to one another? So that's the main thing I came with. When it, like, look at who lead the league in heart disease. We do. Who lead the league? Who lead the league in high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes? We lead the league. We are the LeBron James of this shit right now, and we got to get that. We got to get those numbers called down. And time again, y'all can check my testimonials out on the website. Y'all can, you know, y'all can call. Like I also give references. Like, hey man, can I talk to one of your customers or one of your patients who took Miracle Food, and I hook other patients up in other prospective states. You know what I mean? And I don't. There, like I've done it so much. It pains me to see. I'm gonna give you a story. You ready for this? Boom, story. You're gonna love this story. Boom, story. You know that website where the people who are got the STDs and all of that, positive singles, you ever heard of that website, brother?
Nah, I've been married for a minute, bro.
Positive Singles is a place, right, that they created. PositiveSingles.com is a place that they've created that people who are single and have STDs and sexually transmitted diseases, they can hook up and share, you know, get with each other sharing diseases. Right?
Oh, okay, I get it. Actually, I know a sister who is HIV positive, who was involved in a site like that because she was looking for a mate that
had it too.
Would understand their situation.
Yeah, they're looking for somebody that got something too. Right? I said, man, my partner called me and was like, man, why you don't go on that website and market to the people on that website? So I said, all right, I'll go on the website and I build me a profile and I market to the people on the website. And it pains me to know that the biggest hindrance to helping the people on that site was their propaganda belief in the term that it's incurable. There is no cure. That you can't cure it, or you can't get rid of it, right? And so that's been the biggest roadblock. People's lack of belief in the fact that you don't have to live with this for the rest of your life. Are you willing to do what it takes with this tool that I'm giving you? Right? I'm giving you this tool, and anybody who gets Miracle Food, they receive free vaccine exemption. And attestation letter from me and my company as a natural holistic healer, and a licensed ordained minister and reverend, Christian minister and reverend of an unorthodox Christian church. So
intriguing.
Very intriguing, man. Very intriguing when you add all it, man, when you add science with religion and you get a full body perspective. As long as you keep everything compartmentalized, y'all will never get it. Once you start adding everything together and stop shunning, man, the Bible says in Hosea 4:6, you shall perish because you lack knowledge. And having rejected knowledge, God shall reject you. And so we have to understand that we Black people, we are satisfied with being stupid. We are satisfied with being, in my city, they call it retarded. You go retarded, you go dumb, you go stupid, you go crazy. You feel me? And so when you analyze all of the things that we're programmed by and how we got to deprogram ourselves, the first way we got to deprogram ourselves is through our bodies. We have to take a stance and treat these cars and get these cars maintenance. When you get when you get an oil change in your car, you got to do that with your body. You got to maintenance the inside of your body. When you maintenance the inside of your body, now you talking about taking care of the temple of God. Now you talking about community. Now remember, they told you cleanliness is next to godliness, where there's nothing clean, there's no greater task or more rewarding task than cleaning the inside of your body.
Ooh. Okay. Deep. Hey, I'm looking at some of the testimonies from your website. So we looked at 2 earlier. I really like this one from Maria Lopez. What is this chakra activation?
That's the FCA yoga.
Okay.
That's the FCA yoga, what you were talking about. That's how I told you, before I ever had miracle food and selling miracle food, I was activating people's chakras, and I was healing people of spinal cord injuries, healing their bones, addiction, all kind of things, man. I was, and bro, casting out demons, casting out devils. You did, actually tapping into the higher upper echelons of spiritual divine power, right? And using it for the good of my people, man. And the earth's just been backing me, bro. And I'm just so thankful that she is in my corner. And, all praises be to the great grand holy mother of the universe of all divinity. I give her all the honor and praise, man. And as long as she continue to give me this power to do what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep on representing that motherhood. You already know.
All right. I wanted to take a few moments to kind of highlight your products and your services. So we talked about this earlier. You rocking the shirt right now, Make Jesus Black Again.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's remember when the first ever presentation of Christ to the people was a black man.
Right. He had an afro. He was dark.
He had long dreads. Go look at. He had the long dreads, or he had the corn. He had the Buddha. I call him the Buddha. He had the little Buddha corn puffs. The little Afro puffs.
Well, and you can either look at the Cristo Negros, and they always show Mary holding, it's the Madonna and child picture, and in that picture, in that depiction, in those depictions, he had a small little afro. He was dark skinned. She was dark skinned.
Well, how many people know that openly every year in Europe, openly the Catholic Church worships the black Madonna and the black Christ child? Openly,
right, and it's not just at the shrine of the Black Madonna in Washington D.C. That happens annually. Year. And if you go to like
this is what I'm trying to tell you. Lack of knowledge. If black people knew that white people go worship a black woman and a black child every year,
hey, look,
would they still feel the same about white supremacy?
I remember when I went to Panama. And I was hanging out with, salute to Panama. Yeah, Panameños. Oh, yeah. And there's a island in Panama where one of the ships, this was happening in the 1500s, a ship crashed. And one of the figurines, one of the statues of Yeshua, of Jesus, floated and landed on a shore. They built a church around it. It was, of course, a Cristo Negro. It's a black Christ. And people make pilgrimages there every year. They worship at the foot of a black Jesus.
Hey, bro.
And,
black people.
And you find that in Mexico, too.
Black people are the only people that don't worship black Jesus.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Man, listen. If you go to the Bible Belt right now and go to all these towns with all these churches, they're gonna have the white Last Supper with the white man. Come on, stop it, man. I remember my grandma, when I was praying to Jesus, and I was, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. When I was doing that, the image in my mind was the white man on my grandmother's wall. I remember she had the white Jesus on the left. She had the supper on the right, Last Supper on the right. You heard me? And she had the big old tall spoon, wooden spoon, with the big old wooden fork. Come on now. And I remember when my mama was a Pentecostal evangelist. My mama was a Pentecostal Christian, and my mama was one of the only women that used to let go around in the church circuit and preach, right? And I remember she was preaching before Paul Martin got to where he at right now, and he was just, Paul Martin in New Orleans doing his Greater St. Stephen in the Third Ward. It was that church I seen her like preach in front of a big old congregation before, right? And this was a lady that preached to a congregation of Baptist Christians, and And at home, I know for a fact she do hoodoo magic. Okay? And so, and she was able to talk about both to both sides. And she was able to relate both to both sides and show y'all how we're really getting it wrong by shunning knowledge. And the Bible says that. The Bible shows you what happens to those who shun knowledge. You're supposed to want to know. Remember, that's part of the God, all-knowing.
Ashe.
A part of God is all-knowing. If you know all, that means good and bad come with that all that you know.
Hey, you can't spell Allah without all. You can't spell Almighty without all. And let's go back to the Bible, man. Let's go back to the Bible. I've heard you say, and you didn't say it this way, but it's kind of a paraphrasing of it, that the Bible is about the Garden of Eden. You talked about how there were 4 main characters in the Old Testament, and it all happened around a tree.
Right.
Talk that talk, brother. Talk that talk.
So, well, remember, when you look at the characters in the Bible, I tell people, look at, first and foremost, you got to get acquainted with body language. You got to get acquainted with characteristics. Now, look at the characters in the Bible. Number 1, you got, boom, God, right? Then you got Adam and Eve, and then you got the serpent, or what everybody can know, because the Bible don't distinguish that the serpent was Lucifer. Let's get that clear. The Bible don't distinguish. The Bible said it was a serpent that told him that. Now, in actual metaphysics, you'll find out that that serpent is the Kundalini Chakra energy. Okay? That's the serpent. This is what we used to wear on our heads in Egypt, and we had the snake. And if you was a pharaoh that was Kundalini, you look at the different pharaohs. Some pharaohs had a snake on their head, a cobra on their forehead. Some didn't. Those ones who had a cobra on their forehead was considered the Osirises. Okay, and they was the ones that was giving godhood. Those are the pharaohs that were considered godlike because they activated their Kundalini chakras. Okay,
exactly.
That Kundalini snake, that serpent in the garden, right?
Yo, so, can I tap in? Open up your albums, your Earth, Wind, and Fire album, and look for the song Serpentine Fire. And that's what Maurice Cornwell from Earth, Wind, and Fire was talking about, because he was an adept Egyptologist, kind of like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who was an adept student in Egyptian or Kemetic sciences. And Yeshua himself in the Bible, it says, Jesus, it says, be ye wise like the serpent. But talk your talk, brother. Talk your talk.
Remember, the serpent, I keep telling people, when you look in the hospital and somebody is on the bed and the thing going dee, dee, and that's a line, right? And that line has curvature in it like a serpent. It's waves. The serpent is waves, frequency, right? And so
currency, yeah.
Currency. Remember, currency, because people are the real money. I keep telling people this, I ask you, what would you rather have, 1 billion people or $1 billion? Give me a billion people. Give me a billion people any day.
Any day.
Right? But the foolish man is the foolish man that'll take $1 billion cash. Right? So number 1, when you're talking about the garden, you're talking about Genesis 1:29. In Genesis 1:29, God commanded us to eat meat that was fruit. Okay? So it says in the Genesis 1:29, it says, to you in the garden, every herb and fruit that yielded seed, to you it shall be for your meat. KJV, King James Version, 1611, Shakespeare. Y'all already know what it is, the magic in that one. All right? Yes. And so he said, to you it shall be for your meat. So in the beginning, Genesis, remember, Jinn, you talking about Jinn, the Jinn. Then you're also Isis. then you're talking about Isis, and then you're talking about genes, the genes of Isis. Remember, Israel is basically the genes of Isis. Remember, Isis, Ra, El, and Elohim. Remember, in the Bible they call El the Most High, and Yahweh the lesser God. That the Most High El Elyon distributed his portion unto Jacob and his people. So it literally shows you in Deuteronomy that the Most High and Yahweh are two different entities. But if you don't understand the Bible, you're gonna think that they're the same person, the same being, the same representation. So I tell people all the time, as you read, when you can't just be at the Bible, you gotta go to Hebrew. Understand that, and understand what the name Yeshua mean, understand what the name Yahweh mean, understand what the name Yahweh mean, understand what the name Jehovah mean, understand what the names mean. Because y'all all pronouncing phonetics of 4 different characters. You can't say Jehovah and Yahweh are the same person when you go look at the Hebrew, and it means 2 different meanings. So I always tell people, man, y'all gotta do y'all concordance knowledge and get y'all concordance knowledge up there. And the concordance is gonna show you, wait a minute, the actual meaning of these characters and these names. And so the garden.
Wait. For the uninitiated, what is a concordance?
A concordance is I like to call it a big word encyclopedia that is specified for the Bible. Okay. You got Jewish Hebrew concordances, you got Latin concordance, like what it meant in Latin, because remember, you got to remember the Bible's travels. The Bible is a plagiarized book from Africa. Wait a minute. Let's show you what the Bible plagiarized from. See, they take our people's shit. Voila. They take our people's shit and they turn it into their shit. Okay. It's easy to find. It's easy. See, look, all of this is our shit. See?
Hey man, you sound like a hotep now, bro.
Wait a minute. No, look, I'm showing you. Look, this is not hotep. Look, this was written by a white man, bro. This is a white man using black hotep shit. Look, this was written. These books are written by white folks, bro. All these books I'll show you right now. These books are I got white people's version of your black heritage. I've taken it back and appropriated and used it wisely upon myself, like Black Thought Through Whitewash taught me.
So you're teaching black truths through white lips?
No, I'm teaching black truth through black chip. I am the guy. You ready? I don't teach it through white lips. I just took these books and I show people, look at what they're doing with your shit. Why aren't you doing even better with it? This is your shit. This is not theirs. This is the plagiarized version of your shit. It's not even called a book of the fucking dead. It's not dead. Don't mean dead.
No, it doesn't.
All right. So I'm trying to show you. Look at the propaganda. This is your heritage, your birthright. Esau. See?
I did think it was interesting how on your IG you do use a number of some people would call Albions, some would say Tamahus, but you would say Caucasians who were showing and proving all the truth that you're bringing to the table. So
remember, because black people, and I tell people the reason why. So let's understand this: the reason why I became the Chakra that I didn't get popping in the black community. I already knew that we're under a spell of hating ourselves. Period. This is why all of the black rappers get killed, and because it's a big crab in the barrel hatred mechanism that is brainwashed in us. But we'll believe the Englishman, we'll believe the Indian man, we'll believe the Chinese man, we'll believe the Spanish man, we'll believe any other ethnicity besides our ethnicity. So when I was in California and I was walking and I go to a business meeting, I wouldn't even go to the business meeting first. My secretary, who was a white girl, will go to the business meeting. And they messed everybody's head up to see a white girl call a black man boss. You understand what I'm saying? When I pull, people don't understand that in order for me to woo black people in, I had to go around black people because black people don't like black people. Understand that in order for me to heal black people, I had to heal a whole bunch of white, Hispanic, and Indian people first, so black people could say, okay, he's a nigga that's worth something. And now I'm kicking it with my people. See, understand that we are gods and goddesses, kings and queens, and we come from a long line of lineage, and we now have been programmed to hate that lineage. We've been programmed to hate our genius from that lineage. We've been programmed to hate our heritage of spirituality and moral rightness and upward correctness, all right? And the fact that we hate all of these things means that if you're going to try to get popping with black people, remember that always we're talking about something this significant, like healing and healing their body. Not talking about just getting popping with no nails and some old bullshit. No, talking about healing their actual body of incurable diseases. If you're going to get popping on those type of levels, you're going to have to make sure that you are solidified in your, in all of your paperwork, and all of your connections outside of black folk. Because like I told you before, it takes black people a little bit while to get warmed up to black people who are doing something that's important. Okay, because they're not used to us doing things of this important. The level of importance of what I'm doing and all, and the level of power that I'm doing and all, rivals Big Pharma. Like I told you before, show me another black person outside of me who is giving people, especially the children, who is giving people Francine. We're gonna call it Francine. Who's giving people Francine exemptions? You understand me? And they duck it, and they bobbing and weaving, and they ducking the jab. And guess what? They work in military, they work in the government, they work everywhere. And they call Chakra doctor, and they gotta show and they show the people their exemption through me. You see?
Hey, let's talk about longevity equals empowerment, because the Get on Code show is focused on empowerment with a passion for black empowerment. We're focused on empowerment. So how is longevity equal to empowerment?
Well, remember when you said earlier, when I said you've been on Positive Single, the first thing you did was spread out your longevity and say, I've been married for 17 years, brother. Wait a minute. See? Soon, longevity shows experience. When you go to a job and they ask you what's your experience, they're asking you how long have you been doing. When your credit determines how long have you been good at paying credit. Everything. Remember, time is the teller of all tales and the healer of all wounds. So once we understand that's why time is money. And people are the only things that can pay attention. Okay? Pay attention. This is why when you go to the job, you get clocked by the hour. Okay? That all that represent Horus, Heru. You get clocked by the hour. And that hour represents a moment of your time. And that moment of your time. Why do you think people say, oh, excuse me, can I get a moment of your time? Because time is valuable. It's money. Okay? And longevity means long time. Long time means long money. You rich. Any questions?
Wow. Next question. And this is going to get towards those capstone questions that I talked about earlier. How do we make intentional generational change?
That's why I got into the health and wellness. The only way you can make intentional generational change is by focusing on yourself, your generation, your bloodline. So if your mom and them, if you're trying to break the generational curse of whatever you're trying to break in your family's bloodline, and you're gonna be the one to break the curse, then the first intentional change has to start with you and say, wait a minute, in order for me to break this, I know I gotta be the one to do it. In order for me to be the one to do it, I gotta do it to myself first. So before I ever told you I was a health and wellness doctor, I was a health and wellness practitioner that healed incurable disease, I was the health and wellness patient that healed myself of incurable disease first. So I held myself accountable and said, hey man, you either gonna fold or crumble, or you're gonna become a genius like Hemotep and solve it and figure it out. Right? This is where we come from. We come from long lines of super genius caliber people. Now where the ball dropped and where we lost it at, that's debatable. But we've dropped and lost the ball and got to pick it back up. The only way we can pick it back up, it won't be through flesh and blood. It won't be through no damn guns. It will only be through the genius intellect and your ties and connections with the divine. And so when it comes to breaking generational curses, know that this is an invisible game and an invisible war. And in order for you to truly break a generational curse, you got to truly break the fucking shit that has cursed you in your life, and whether it's a vice, whether it's a habit that just can't seem to can't shake, whether it's the people you keep attracting, whatever, whether it's the health that you're trying to get with, right? But number one thing, health and wellness. Why? Because if your body survives long enough, I'm pretty sure you won't be making those same mistakes by the time you're 80, because I guarantee you, an 80-year-old is not making the same mistakes as a 40-year-old. But you got to make it to actually 80. You got to make it to actual 120, right? But we're not even making it to we're not even making it past 50 without needing a pill. So the way to break the intentional curse is first, the generational curse through intentional change is number one, I got to, in order for this to work, I'm just talking about for those who wanted to actually work in their lives, and you're not just sitting there on the couch like, oh, I'm just going to try this stuff, and no, it's poppycock. No, real, you cooling, retarded drooling, and you say, all right, I'm about to really give this a try. In order for it to work and give it a try, you have to be the embodiment, the epitome of it. You have to be the walking textbook of what you're trying to preach. So if you're trying to preach health and wellness, your track record is through the fruits of your labor are going to show that you are that health and wellness guy or girl. If you're trying to preach fitness and working out, then your physique is going to show, working out, that you that guy or that girl, right? If your genius is going to show how well you create businesses, then you're going to have a portfolio of how many entrepreneurs you created, because that's a real business, a person. Without the people, there ain't no business. So it's all about changing yourself, being the embodiment of the change that you want people, that you be preach. A lot of our black people, we go and we preach. We get the little knowledge, and the substance of the molecules. And back in the day, Noble Ali came and went to the man. Listen, don't none of that mean nothing if you don't know how to apply that to your life. Don't none of those stories mean anything if you don't know how to take the meat and potatoes from those stories and turn it into the meat and potatoes of your existence. You feel me? So how do you do that? You, number one, you correct yourself, and this is what they say: know thyself. And part of knowing yourself is knowing that we've been taught the wrong way all the way around the board, and we must unlearn what we've been taught and relearn it from a perspective of self-initiation, right? And when you do that, now you're making way long drastic changes, because you're changing the one thing that it takes to make change. What? The self, your body, your mind, your spirit, soul. No matter how many car clothes you got, that shit not gonna go with you when you go to the upper room or the bottom room. You understand me? You're gonna lay up there and you are going to live your life right now for what is meant to be right now. Stop worrying about the world. That's how you change the world. I gravitated and I attract black people's attention because I said, black people, y'all gonna catch on whenever y'all catch on. I still love y'all. Let me do this over here to the people who catching on right now. You see what I'm saying? So understand that's how you affect change, and that creates longevity. And now you're talking about it's a link chain, longevity. And now that intentional generational wealth gets being built. Why? Because you doing something that your mom and your dad and them didn't do. My mom and my dad and them didn't do this. So therefore, to the level that I'm doing it, like I told you. And, right.
So let's go right to this question. So what have you intentionally done differently than the previous generations to make a better life? I mean, you got a wife, you got a kid. What have you done intentionally different from previous generations to make a better life for you and yours?
So the number one thing I've done differently from previous generations is that I've opened my mind to the possibility of more than just my way. I've opened my mind and allowed myself to receive knowledges from everywhere, and in receiving those knowledges from everywhere and putting them together and being able to connect the dots, because now they're not opposers, they're a union. The knowledge is not opposing data, it is unified data. I was able to take that unified data of all walks of life and create a whole new algorithm. Okay, so the one thing I did was remove fear from my life to my previous generation. The previous generation, they come up under a level of fighting to get certain equalities and fighting to get certain freedoms. Now that they've done that for me, now I pick up the baton and I say, okay, the fight is no longer in the street and marching with picket fences and what my predecessors did. That's over with. The battle is no longer on that stage. The battle is going to the metaverse. The battle is going in the cyber world. The battle, if you don't know how to operate computers and cell phones and smartphones and technologies, if you don't know how to operate that within the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to get left behind the revolution that is happening in the digital world. And the world is about to move to the digital world. So the one thing I'm doing is I'm leaving myself open to learn from my elders as well as my youth and as well as my peers, right? And I'm making sure that I actually walk my brand, live my brand, and be my brand instead of just having a brand and only putting on a show for the audience. You see what I'm saying? A lot of our predecessors put on shows for the audience, but they didn't fully walk what they were preaching to us. Majority of our leaders were not walking the doctrines that they were preaching to us. And this is why we got led to hell in the handbasket. Remember, at the end of his term, before he went to the upper room, Martin Luther King said he led us into a burning house. You understand? So understand what's going on, y'all. Our predecessors showed us what to do and what not to do. Okay?
All right. Last question, brother. Whew. And, we just hit the 2-hour mark, man. We've been going in. And this is just the first conversation, so I'm loving this. What is something that needs to change in the world that you're uber passionate about? And what are you doing to affect that change?
I'm trying to get everybody in the world chakras activated, bro. That's the only thing. That's the super most only thing that I'm uber passionate about is activating as many chakras as I can in the world. But if you want to be technical, the real number one thing I'm uber passionate about is restoring the earth to its to better than its former glory. We have an environment and a place and a planet that we're supposed to take advantage of. And in taking advantage of it, we're not supposed to degrade it. We're supposed to upgrade it as we take advantage of all of the tools that Earth has given us and Mother Earth has given us. But yeah, that's the number one active, that's the number one thing I'm passionate about. Making sure that everybody get a chance to feel how I feel. All chakras activated, able to control their emotions, able to quiet their mind from all of the thoughts that enter into our mind, able to get their checkbooks balanced and finances straight and independent of a Caucasian vehicle funding their lifestyles, right? This is the number one thing that I'm, passionate about. Because once you get into your spirit, you're getting into God. And when you're getting into God, God gonna automatically guide you to that place where there is nothing that can hold or bound you. You know what I'm saying? He said, you should prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemy. And so understand what that means. God's so bold. God said, I'm going to place a table in the midst of your enemies. And I'm going to prepare your table in the midst of your enemies so that they can watch you eat and can't do nothing because you protect it. You understand? And so that's what I'm all about, man. Just people strengthening their spiritualities with their chakras and healing your body, bro. Health and wellness. That's my thing, man. Number one.
Ashe. Hey, you've been checking out Get On Code. Our code is empowerment. So we asked you to get on code. We asked you to share the code, teach the code, become the code, and live the code. Brother Chakra Doctor, Brother Rance Dunbar, you can check him out on his website, chakradoctor.org. He gave you the telephone number. How many folk are doing that? Yo.
That's one thing they love about my brand, bro. They love the fact that they can just call me. And they be like, oh my God, damn, I'm actually talking to you. Like, yeah, bro, it's me. You know what I mean? What's good? You know what I mean? So
check him out on IG. Check him out on Facebook. Yeah, man. I love what you're doing. Man.
Gotta have you come on CBTV, bro.
Ashe, that's gonna happen. And we got to get you back because it looks to me like you can go. We can say, all right, Rance, go.
Yeah, man. And I've been, like I told you, I've been in the cocoon for a while, man. And it's time to be the butterfly now. I've been in the cocoon perfecting. I tell people I've been in a hyperbolic time chamber like on Dragon Ball Z. In my hyperbolic time chamber, and I done perfected the craft, and now it's time for me to spread the perfection, man.
All right. Well, Code Keepers, you had a beautiful 2 hours worth of mind blowing, conceptual, intellectual, motivational, inspirational, educational. We can just go with it, man. The hot boy brought it tonight. He brought the heat.
Man, I'm trying to have, man. Y'all remember, man. He gonna be coming on my channel, Chakra Doctor TV. I'm gonna have Fly Guy on my channel on Chakra Doctor TV, and we gonna put on our tinfoil hats, and we gonna get it in, man.
That's right. Put on the tinfoil koofies, and we gonna make it happen.
Tinfoil koofies all day, bro.
I say so. Hey, Code Keepers, stay on code.
Stay on code.